What if one ordinary-looking 5-cent coin, resting unnoticed in an old drawer, could tell the story of a nation rebuilding itself after one of the hardest economic periods in American history? What if that same coin, carried through the final years before World War II, still survives today in collections, pocket change, and forgotten jars, waiting for someone to recognize its true importance? Most people would never give a second glance to a 1939 Jefferson nickel. To them, it's just another old nickel. But to collectors, historians, and serious numismatists, this little coin represents the beginning of one of the most influential coin series ever produced by the United States, mint. Before we talk about value, before we discuss rare varieties, and before we reveal why certain examples have become highly desirable among collectors, we first need to travel back to America in 1939. Imagine walking through the streets of Philadelphia during that year. The country was still recovering from the Great Depression. Families worked hard for every dollar they earned. 5 cents wasn't something people ignored. It could buy everyday necessities, a newspaper, a candy bar, or help pay for public transportation. Every coin mattered. Every nickel had purchasing power. Yet no one carrying this brand new Jefferson nickel could have imagined that nearly a century later, millions of collectors would still be studying it with magnifying glasses, grading lamps, and microscopes. The story of the 1939 Jefferson nickel actually begins before 1939 itself. For 25 years, Americans carried the famous Buffalo nickel, one of the most iconic coin designs ever created. It celebrated the American frontier with a powerful native American portrait on one side and a majestic bison on the other. Although beautiful, it had one major weakness. The design wore down quickly. Dates disappeared. Details faded. Banks complained. Cashiers struggled to identify worn coins. The United States Mint knew that a change had become necessary. Under American law, a circulating coin design could be replaced after 25 years, and the Buffalo nickel had reached that milestone. The Treasury Department announced a competition for a new design that would honor one of America's greatest historical figures. The winner was sculptor Felix Schlag, whose portrait of Thomas Jefferson and depiction of Monticello would forever become part of American daily life. Jefferson wasn't chosen simply because he had been president. He represented ideas that shaped the nation itself. He authored the Declaration of Independence, believed deeply in education, architecture, science, agriculture, and the power of free citizens. Even the reverse of the coin carried symbolism. Instead of an eagle or military emblem, Americans would see Monticello, Jefferson's own home, a building he personally designed. It represented knowledge, creativity, and the belief that great nations are built not only through power but through ideas. When the Jefferson nickel entered circulation in 1938, Americans immediately noticed its completely different appearance. Then came 1939, only the second year of the new series. Early years of any coin series often receive special attention because they capture the original design before decades of production changes, die wear, and mint adjustments. That alone makes the 1939 Jefferson nickel historically significant. But history is only the beginning of its story. The real excitement begins when collectors start examining individual coins. At first glance, every 1939 Philadelphia nickel without a mint mark appears almost identical. The portrait looks the same. The lettering appears the same. Monticello seems unchanged. Yet experienced collectors know that hidden inside those tiny details are differences, capable of separating an ordinary 5-cent coin from an exceptional collectible. One of the biggest mistakes new collectors make is believing that age alone determines value. That's simply not true. Millions of old coins survive today. Rarity comes from much more than age. It comes from preservation, strike quality, varieties, demand, and originality. Those 5 factors often determine whether a coin remains worth only face value or becomes something collectors eagerly pursue. Looking at your coin, the first thing we can confidently confirm is that it carries no mint mark. For Philadelphia production in 1939, that is exactly what should be expected. Many beginners mistakenly assume that a missing mint mark means a mint error. But for this year, it is completely normal. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where nickels did not carry mint marks during that period. The next step is examining condition. Collectors never ask only one question. Instead, they ask dozens. Is the strike sharp? Are Jefferson's hair details complete? Does Monticello still show strong architectural detail? Have the fields remained original? Has the coin been cleaned? Are the rims complete? Is there corrosion? Is there environmental damage? Every answer slowly builds the coin's story. One of the most important lessons in coin collecting is learning the difference between wear and damage. Honest circulation wear tells us that the coin performed the job it was created to do. Damage, however, usually results from something that happened after the coin left the mint: cleaning, polishing, harsh chemicals, scratches, bending, filing, or corrosion often reduce collector appeal. Surprisingly, an old coin with natural gray toning and honest circulation may attract more respect than a brightly polished coin that has lost its original surfaces forever. Professional numismatists repeat the same advice again and again. Never clean an old coin unless you fully understand the consequences. A few minutes of polishing can erase decades of collectible value. That single mistake has cost collectors countless rare coins over the years. As you continue examining the reverse of a 1939 Jefferson nickel, your attention eventually moves toward the steps beneath Monticello. These tiny horizontal lines may appear insignificant to casual observers, but advanced collectors know they represent one of the most respected strike characteristics. In the Jefferson Nickel series, when every step remains fully separated and uninterrupted, a professionally graded coin may qualify for the famous full steps designation. Coins with full steps are considerably harder to find, because even slight die wear or circulation quickly softens those delicate details. This is one reason why two coins from the same year can sell for dramatically different prices.